I grew up loving Pokemon. I had the cards, I watched the cartoons as a kid, and I played pretty much all the games right up until about Shield. I even remember the Pokemon Stadium game that came out for EU in 2000 for the Nintendo 64. My parents got me the Pokemon edition of the console, specifically just for that game. It took ages to arrive and I was so impatient for it. I thought that if I walked out of the house, down the street and came back, that it would be miraculously delivered. Kind of like when you open a fridge for a snack, see that there's no food, close it, and then open it up again to see if the inventory is refreshed. What I'm saying is, I've loved and still do love Pokemon to this day. I felt like I took my side as a child, and into adulthood, it's not like I didn't think Digimon was good, it's just that I never gave it a chance. And with Pokemon games currently looking pretty tired, I decided to pick up Digimon Storytime Stranger, as the characters, animations and attention to detail of the Digimon themselves look really great. Also, I heard it plays kind of like a Persona game, and I loved Persona 5 and Metaphor ReFantazio, so it was a bit of a no-brainer for me. And I thought, you know what, I've put Digimon on the back burner my entire life, it's probably time to give it a shot. So in these handful of videos, I'll be sharing my thoughts and showing interesting moments about my first experience with the Digimon franchise. So we appear to be in some kind of digital landscape where we're asked to choose who we are and who we're going to play as. I chose this guy and decided to just stay with the name. Obviously I basically know nothing about Digimon, so if Dan Yuki is a known character, let me know. Either way, we chose him and wake up in a theatre where we are told to sit down and enjoy a show about the natural laws of the world. We then watch what is basically an anime intro showing the two main character choices and a small goat boy going about kicking names and taking ass, which then pans out, transitioning to us on the street looking at a billboard of the same thing. We receive a call from a peer telling us that when anomalies appear in the world, we're essentially deployed to deal with them or figure it out, but mostly in secret. So that anime on the billboard probably isn't doing us any favours. He tells us to go and investigate into the anomalies, so we do. We arrive at a giant wall and there appears to be a protest with people asking for an explanation as to what's happening and why they aren't being protected, and that there's leaked footage on the other side. Supposedly the government or people in power are hiding something from them. That's not our problem, however, so we slink underground, and it's here where we see the first Digimon of the story. Purple Dinosaurmon, Sonicmon, and Geodude with Legsmon. I'll be doing this a lot, and I can only apologise until I know their names. We then get to choose our own starter Digimon, and this shit hits like crack. Picking your starter in Pokemon is always a huge step, so I was really excited to pick one of these. We have Patamon, Devimon and Gomamon. I loved seeing all the stats and abilities they have at the start. It's very promising for a fun combat system, but I like the look of Devimon the most, so we went with that, and I'm glad we did, as they're very fitting with the subway environment, especially in combat where we shoot literal syringes at our foes. We continued on injecting small creatures with lethal doses of subway grade liquid drugs, picking up items and just getting a feel for how exploration works. Then the wall explodes and a mecha T-Rex starts chasing us. We escape and meet our first interactable NPC who lets us know there's a fight about to happen on the roof of a government building, and it's really important that we stop it, so we agree and she accompanies us. After more exploring and syringe throwing, we're attacked again by this massive T-Rex, and I don't know how much drugs you have left, Devimon, but I'm not sure it's enough to take this thing down. But then a Gundam wing appears and joins us. Seeing us and our Digimon stood next to these two really gave a sense of scale and kind of got me excited as to what Devimon might eventually become. It's super cool. We then head up to the government building, which has been blasted by something, and it's here we learn how to actually convert Digimon. You have to defeat a certain amount of them in combat to build up a scan rate, the maximum being 200%. You can convert them at lower numbers, but 200 is always the best. Some Digimon such as Botamon and Koromon will only need you to defeat them twice in battle, giving 100% per win, whereas something like this might only net you 15%, requiring upwards of 16 defeats to convert it. But if you're like me, you won't leave an area until you've captured everything on offer. We run through the building finding strange new Digimon, doing a bit of leveling, making sure to capture everything, and head upwards and cross over this connecting hallway only to be attacked by the biggest guy of all time and get separated from girl to be protected. Oh no. We notice a pink bird looking Digimon on its own, and I don't have that one yet, so naturally we blast through all the walls to get to it. Only we can't capture this one, but we can ask it to help us fly over the gap. Never mind. As we progress the game, it lets us know about Digivolution, which, like picking a starter, hits like crack. Only in Digimon they don't have just one evolution. Depending on what kind of personality they have, based on how you mold them when you travel with them. They will actually prefer to improve some stats over others and lean into a certain Digivolution. So everything's basically Eevee, and then when they Digivolve, a lot of times they branch off yet again. This blew my head off. So many different options and Digimon to catch. From that point on, the crack claws were deeply embedded in my flesh. So naturally I converted as many as I could, leveling and Digivolving them before I carried on. We made our way up to where we fell down to get to the roof, and when we get there we look up to see that there is some kind of war happening. A Digi-war if you will. But before we can learn more about it, a massive red bug appears and we need to fight it. So we do. Also our phone's a gun. After defeating Kuwagamon, a smoky figure appears and smacks us and attempts to touch the girl to be protected, but not before the biggest guy of all time appears again and touches them first. But before he can do the touch, the sky opens and a massive golden fist comes out of it and chin checks him, creating a massive nuclear blast and destroying probably millions of people. The end. Turns out we have plot armor and wake up in some kind of temple where we're greeted by Lunamon, Coronamon, and Minervamon. They distrust us and think we're here to steal an egg or something. Enter Smoky Touch Guy, who Minervamon tries to take down, but after a well-timed parry gets decked. Smoky Touch Guy teleports away to get the egg and we give chase and catch him in the act. And now it's our time to do the touching. Let's make sure that egg comes to no harm. We then get a glimpse of three rich kids chilling, having cups of tea, talking briefly about maybe getting involved in this conflict in a domain called Homeros. Probably haven't said that right. I have no idea what any of these things are, but I'm sure we'll learn as we go on. We wake up on the ground in the real world and find our 5G is down, so we do a little exploring only to find out man with glasses has a daughter and she's in some kind of trouble. We are introduced to a couple of agent types before chasing after the man. He wants to go and save his daughter but can't get past the gate, so we use Sumimon's face to bash it open. We head inside and are greeted by the worst kind of hellish creature the world can produce. A streamer. W's in the shit. After they take the piss out of our outfit,
that weird, cool outfit of you.
They explain that they are a paranormal activity filmer and want us to help them get content. We reluctantly decide to assist them in filming, but they immediately overact to clip farm and need to re-up on their gamer sup. So we leave them behind. In here there's a bunch of more Digimon to catch and Digivolve, so I spent a good hour or so in here grinding away. We head forwards to find the man's daughter, who appears to be the one who actually died in the nuke recently. How strange. She's protecting a small red creature, and then a big slime appears, so we fight it. It beats us, and this is where I took the time to learn about virus, vaccine, and data types. Similar to grass, fire, and water, each has a strength over the other, so we learned that as this Digimon is a virus type, we had to go with a vaccine team. I also spent time learning its attribute resistances and elemental weaknesses to double down on the effectiveness of our team, and then we easily won. After leaving the sewers, we then learned that the girl has no idea who we are, but due to the fact that the government building next to us is still intact, could it be plausible that we have travelled back in time? Are we a time stranger? Anyway, they let us sleep at their house, which becomes a type of base of operations, and we learn the girl's name is Inori Misono. Her dad's a detective, and we have in fact gone back in time by 8 years. After we're let out of the house, we do a little exploring. We got ourselves a new t-shirt after the streamer said our drip was odd. Well, now we're wearing a perfectly normal top, bought from a local store where everything is outside, so it's no longer out of the ordinary. Surely, we won't get called out for it anymore. I'm not going to go into much detail about the side missions and side content as a whole, as I'm not finding it that interesting, but maybe in future videos I'll touch on it. We'll see. After exploring some more, we find a golden door that appears in an alleyway, so we head in. It's some kind of theatre, and judging by the fact that this purple-haired girl is here, it's probably the same place as the start of the game. It seems like a hub where you can buy all kinds of items and abilities for your Digimon. You can even put them on some kind of farm and train them, or just decorate it, which is pretty cool. Oh, and I can just go into random dungeons and grind XP. Ah, sweet. XP dungeon, please. You must purchase downloadable content. Oh. We head back to Inori's gaff and find that the streamer has found a lead on some interesting paranormal activity and wants to do a video. I'm more interested in this point at getting back into amassing my Digimon collection, so after another random stab...
Your buddy in the weird... interesting outfit along for the ride.
It's a Tekken t-shirt. What's weird about that? We agree and head back to the sewers again. Luckily, there are new Digimon in here, so we spent time converting and Digivolving. Super fun. Really enjoying this aspect of the game so far, and we learned that Inori has some kind of unshakable desire to protect strays and take them in, and that's why she's obsessed with finding this red Digimon and looking after it. We learn more on this later. After chasing the red Digimon through a substantial amount of sewer systems, we find out that they are scared because they are being bullied. But by who? Turns out it's this absolute steroid mutant Cyclonemon. The red Digimon recognizes that Inori is trying to protect it, so when she's attacked, he jumps in to protect her. This doesn't go well for it. However, in a surprising twist of fate, in his final moments he digivolves into that goat boy we saw in the cartoon at the start. With his newfound horns and hooves, we manage to take down Steroidmon and head back to the house. But not before this.
If you want to see what happens, you'd better like this video, smash that subscribe button, and turn on notifications.
Well, go on, you heard the lady. The next day we head back over to the square to take the goat boy to meet with the agent people, and it's here where we meet a scientist called Dr. Simmons who wants to test the capabilities of the kid to gain data about him. So we do that, and after this he meets up with some human kids and they ask to play tag with him, so he agrees. After all, he's trying to blend in, as this world doesn't really know about Digimon yet. The following morning, Goat Boy and Inori want to go find the kids from the day before to play with them again. But when we get there, we find one of the mothers who says they went missing. Turns out they ran into the sewers, because of course they did, so we go in after them. New Digimon, new Digivolutions. You get the drill. Turns out they've been yoinked into something called an outer dungeon, and we go in after them. And at the end of it, we find the kids have been kidnapped by two freaky ass brain things who like to steal kids and drain them for energy. They aren't a problem for my roster though, as I spent hours and hours grinding, so they go down and we free the kids. However, Goat Boy's hat fell off, and as humans don't know about Digimon, they freak out and run away. This obviously upsets Goat Boy, and when we head home, he heads up to the roof to contemplate his existence.
You know what, Chelsea? I think you should jump.
I don't think I want to.
Jump.
Please, I just want to get
I'm not
down.
suggesting anymore. Jump.
After eavesdropping, we learn that Inori actually lost her mother and little brother, so she has this need to protect Goat Boy as he reminds her of her brother. We wake up and head out, and the kid from yesterday is there, who obviously feels guilty but won't admit it, and says to give this card deck to the Goat Boy. Yeah, no problem, I will definitely give the card deck to him. I definitely won't keep it for myself. So through my grinding up to this point, occasionally a card will drop when you defeat a Digimon, and this must be where they gather. So I spent a little bit of time going through the images, and they look pretty cool. I believe they are the OG images from back in the day. Someone will have to tell me if that's true. Cute designs, nicely shaded. What the hell is this? Why is Agumon some kind of meth adult McNugget? The card minigame is fine, nothing too interesting or worth really going into, but I will be collecting the cards in my spare time. We head further into the city to investigate some kind of commotion, and when we get there, the sky opens and Minervamon flies out, followed by a big dinosaur. I will say I really enjoy these small cutscenes. For the graphical style, they're really cinematic. This is Greymon. Goodbye, Greymon. We head back victoriously, but not before some agent makes another passing comment on my completely normal Tekken top.
That human in the weird outfit.
It's a Tekken top. After waking up the next day, we spend a little more time digivolving and upgrading our talent tree. We're getting a small army here, but I want more. I want all of them. We head out to find Dr. Simmons in the street, and she needs our assistance. Apparently the agents are having trouble with some anomaly, and her idea of a smart move is to send a group of kids to do an adult job, so off we go. Upon arrival, the agents look beat up and let us know that they couldn't handle the monster that's inside the portal, so we head in to see what all the fuss is about. What could this terrifying beast be? It's a cat. We chase this cat all over this kaleidoscopic fever dream and defeat it, collecting the agent's briefcase. Inside is a device that will help us track down the egg, as it's now in this world apparently. We head back to Simmons, who thanks us for our assistance, and we move on.
I think this might be the start of a long and fruitful relationship.
We get a lead on the egg, and you guessed it, it's in the sewers. Between the briefcase mission and now, I did a bunch of side missions, but as I said earlier, they aren't super interesting, so with the gang and roster of Digivolved and Digi-Dangerous Digimon, we head into the Digi sewers to find the Digi egg. Turns out the Smoky Touch Man is here and has an army of small green children with him, and you'd think he'd have way more powerful minions, but hey, who am I to scoff at free XP, so we massacre all of them. We chase the smoke man down some stairs into some grassy area in the sewers where we find the egg, which seems to be broken, and the group theorized that maybe Goat Boy hatched from it, But before we do anything about it, the dad of all those green children appears and is rightfully pissed off that I eradicated his bloodline and a fight ensues. We beat him and a portal opens, sucking us all inside. We awaken another underground place, but this time more colourful, and after some exploring we head up a ladder and appear in literal Digiland. 10 hours in and the title card finally plays. Honestly, I'm really digging this game so far. The combat is deep, the Digimon roster's vast, so you can always be working towards something. The characters are fine and the visuals are really nice. The side missions and card game are a little lackluster, but I'm not finished with the game yet, so maybe they will improve. Now, I don't know if all the other Digimon games before this felt and played this way, but if they did, I've got to say you guys have been eating really well. Thanks for watching the first episode of my thoughts on Digimon Storytime, Stranger, and I will see you in the next one.
If you want to see what happens, you'd better like this video, smash that subscribe button, and turn on notifications.